And speaking of that, let's get back to content and fun and stuff like that. So we got a video from Montoya that I think is very relevant to what we were just talking about. It's titled, "Only $8 million for October? Look at new ships." Yeah, I don't know. Is this getting a little concerning or nerve-wracking or whatever? It might be. They need to make money, man. But another person pointed out that October was typically not a good month. It's only a really bad month in relation to last year. And last year they did the most pay-to-win F8C trash that they've ever done in their entire lives. And they're not doing that at the moment. For now. We'll see what happens, though. Let's see what Montoya has to say. I just need to turn up the volume a bit.
The month of October is coming in light, 40% less than last year. Is this time to panic? I say yes.
It's the same size as the year before, and it's the same size as the year before that.
Yes, or not. After we look at that, we're going to take a look at the future vehicle teasers, the silhouettes that showed up for ships coming out in the next 12 months. I have some pretty exciting new... Actually, it's not exciting. It's just theory crafting, but I'm excited. So let's
Theory
go and do
crafting
this.
is exciting.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am Montoya. All right, month of October for this year is coming in so far at 8 million with 2 days left in the month. 43% lower than last year same time. Why? Well, for one thing, they only sold the Misk Star Lancer, and I suspect a lot of people...
Well, didn't they sell that ground vehicle as well, the CSV or something like that? They also sold the Zeus. They also sold, what else? They didn't only sell the Star Lancer. So that's just not true. But yeah, who buys ground vehicles? I don't know. People
in the
do.
Same boat as me in that.
Was the Atlas sold in October? I think that was way before October, right? Wasn't that in September? Well, it's not way before it, but
we already have ships which do what this does. This overlaps what other ships in your current hangar do already. This is
not necessarily true, because they removed the ability to make large bases with the Galaxy and put it on this thing. So not exactly the truth, but okay.
My story anyway. Now, I do love the design of this. This is a chunky freelancer. It does look gorgeous. I'm a big fan of the design language and everything. Actually, all the new ships recently, this past year.
I'm not personally, but yeah, I can understand people who are. General, thank you.
It's just been spectacular. I mean, look at the inside of this thing. It's got the med beds. It's amazing. I'm a big fan of the direction that they've gone. But when it comes to...
Didn't they mention the Galaxy with the large drones? Yes, but it won't come at release. This will. And then if it won't come at release and has a zero timeline, it can be done in 12 years or it can be done in 2 years. There's no timeline for it at all. It was very much a non-solution to the problem they created. It was somewhat of an apology, but it was not solving the problem of, I spent $380 on a Misk Galaxy. You should give me the functionality that I was expecting for it. They said, yeah, we'll do that at some point. So
these particular ships, the Star Lancers here, I gotta say, there are ships I already have which do the job already. And for $295, not the cheapest, but if you are new and you're just arriving in Star Citizen and this does fill a role in your fleet that you need, then I would say absolutely.
If you're new to Star Citizen, spend $300 on a spaceship. Okay.
You go for it. Me personally, I skipped on this one, and I suspect a lot of people skipped on that too, which is why we are here.
You just don't hear that in other game. Like, he's not like out of the, like, it's not insane for him to say that at all, I don't think. But it is in the context of like every other video game, right? It's kind of weird to just hear that thing in the context of just a normal video game YouTube video, you know? It's
but on top of
goofy.
that, consider that CitizenCon this year, the CitizenCon we just had in the UK, was probably the most expensive one yet. Not only the ticket price, but if you live anywhere in Americas, You had to fly across the ocean, get the hotel, transportation. It's an expensive trip. After all that, you're probably not spending a lot of money on ships, which is why the only ship they sold was the Starlancer, as opposed to giving us a
Again, they sold the Zeus a week or two before CitizenCon.
portfolio of 5-6 different ships to choose from, which will come soon, by the way. So check on how they did, which was not...
I think what he means is just new sale is what I'm guessing here. The CSV was obviously a new sale as well, but the Zeus was sold as a concept and then moved into a release. This is going straight to release.
Shabby. I mean, they did 3.4 million the week before, and this most recent week another 3 million. So let's call it 6.5 million over the last 2 weeks. Good. Not bad at all. So when are the new ships coming out? What is going to be
Not
coming
bad.
out? Well, they gave us the teasers, which are this. And what caught my eye immediately was that Fat Fury, but right below that, what the hell is that thing? Let's take a look at what the great minds on Reddit think. So this is the Argo CSV, which is the pickup truck, which we've already seen and is out. Next to it is going to be a gray cat of some kind. Next to that is going to be an Anvil Atlas variant. Is this the base building one? I'm not sure what are the variants.
It doesn't look like a base building ship.
We'll need in that class of vehicle, but going down below that, now here's where it gets interesting. We did see.
I owed you a raid after CitizenCon. I messed it up.
A Hornet with 2 engines, and I was asking, well, that's a variant we have not seen. Will it go for sale? And so there are 2 Hornet variants.
Super Hornet and the Tracker or whatever.
We're seeing silhouettes of over here. One is the Tracker, which has that radar dish on top. But the other one, I don't know, is possibly the Ghost also. Is that the stealth version of the new one? That is possible. It is very possible. Moving on, next to that, we have the Medical Terrapin.
Oh, it's good, Crucian, man. Same for you, I
yes, crowd favorite. That is what I'm looking at right there, yeah? Anvil Terrapin Medivac.
Yeah, people are saying it's probably going to be a medical one.
Yes. I think this will be a hot seller. I think a lot of people definitely like the direction. This is straight out of Cyberpunk, right? Trauma Team, this is exactly out of that. It is beautiful. I'm tempted, although medical gameplay isn't my loop.
I don't think medical gameplay is anyone's loop really at the moment, right? It's beacons are messed up and there really isn't support for it. They keep building the ships to keep building the dream in your mind of what you will do if they ever really work on that gameplay side. But yeah, the medevac ships aren't really doing it for me. Simply because the game loop isn't being supported in the way that it could at some point.
But we'll see when it comes out. I think it's going to be good. And here is my personal anticipated ship, which is the Fat Fury, otherwise known as the Mirai Guardian. Yes.
Oh, great. So these are all leaks that I didn't want to know, but okay.
As long as it's not too expensive, this is definitely going to find a home in my fleet. I just like the weird-looking shapes. I like the TIE Fighter kind of shape of it. It's definitely, whatever it is, I'm going to get it, whatever it is. Next to it is going to be Misk Fortune. Now, is this a mining ship? Looks like that's a mining attachment in the front there. Very
It could be mining or salvage. They both look exactly the same.
possible. And the interesting one here is going to be what looks like the Crusader Intrepid. Some theory crafting that the Intrepid is going to be a starter ship. I don't know. It looks kind of big for a starter ship. Now, we do have some possible footage. If this is the Crusader, there is some possible footage.
This isn't even really a leak on that one. Just the name.
Yes, this was it. All right. So this is first the medevac. Okay.
Why is he watching this on Reddit?
Ship. Oh, yeah. Terrapin? Yes.
At the worst
So
possible
this looks
quality.
Like it could be the medical Terrapin. Flashing lights. Red. Definitely. It's the perfect ship for it. I'd like to think that it was the...
It's the perfect ship for the gameplay that doesn't really exist.
That is the back end of it, is it? it were the fans of the Terrapin that pushed CIG to do this, because I don't know if this was originally meant or if...
I think it was fans of the Terrapin that pushed people to do it. I think people really like the way the Terrapin looks, exterior, maybe interior, and they want it to be more functional, whereas the radar gameplay is not functional in the current game. We know it's in the monthly report. So the original Terrapin is honestly probably getting some pretty heavy love at the moment in terms of attention on the game design side internally, but externally we don't know. Externally we see this, and that's probably where it's getting some love right now. I think there's lots of Terrapin fans. It's a beautiful little ship, right? I just love when Montoya says stuff that just, it's so funny. It's the ship buying attitude. It's the perfect ship. For what? The gameplay's not even barely realized. There's no perfect, like, we had a discussion earlier today in today's stream about how poorly designed cargo ships are for the cargo gameplay that exists, because they designed the ships before the gameplay existed, right? So it's no fault of anybody at the moment other than the priorities and the way they designed the game and the way they funded it and so on and so forth. But for the situation that they're in, they did the best that they could. Now we have all these weird combinations of different sized boxes to fill out a cargo grid even in a ship like the Zeus. You do not want, you literally do not want, if you want a medical Terrapin, you don't want it right now. You want a medical Terrapin after medical gameplay is realized. And then the medical Terrapin is built specifically to enhance or make that gameplay more fun, or just function with it. If you don't have the gameplay loop yet realized nearly at all, which you don't in medical, you want them to wait. And you want them to make it. In this case, I know I'm speaking at people, but I'm just speaking my opinion of, like, I don't ever want to see another mining ship in the game until they get mining and crafting figured out. I don't want to see another salvage ship. It looks like that prospector-looking ship is going to be a salvage ship probably, right? I don't want to see another salvage ship until they realize what structural salvage is and what the actual gameplay loop is. It's so half-baked. And yeah, like combat, that's even tough right now with the state of master modes. Like, obviously they have to keep putting out ships. This is their funding model, but in reality, do you really, like, ask yourself the question, is how I should say this instead of talking at people. I should pose the question to you. Do you really want to buy a ship or have them focus development on a ship for a gameplay loop that doesn't exist? Because then you probably end up with the problems with the mole, the problems with the prospector, and the problems with cargo ships, and the problems with salvage ships. Your reclaimer arm not being a reclaimer arm anymore, right? So it's kind of tough. Cody, just hold up and I'll get to you, okay?
Being heavily armored and small, that's perfect. So here
if you don't mind,
what is possibly the Intrepid. So size 3 weapon. We don't know if it's going to be asymmetrical, if you can tell from this, but if we take a look at the inside now.
What could this Crusader ship even be? It looks like a combat ship. It's weird.
Here.
Crusader starter ship? That makes sense. In terms of their lineup, they don't have one, right?
Single hallway. Pilot seat in the center.
That looks like a starter.
Right, yeah. The cabin. No telling if there's anything on the left, which implies maybe some asymmetry. We don't know.
I mean, with an interior, it's probably not a light fighter, right? So
no. But if they go the direction of the Mercury Star Runner, that'll be okay with me. So that was basically what is very possibly the
Crusader camper van. I mean, the standard of what a starting ship has changed. The Aurora and the Mustang make no sense as starters anymore when you have the Cutter, the 100i, and the Nomad, right? The starting ship standard has changed quite significantly from the original thing. I'm also a Test Squadron member, so when I gave critical feedback to the group, I was banished, mocked, and given flack for having a critical opinion of the state of Star Citizen right now. For the same reason, they don't like Mike's take on things. I might need to seek refuge in a different org soon. Dude, it is what it is. Some people don't like to hear negativity, and some people are drawn to it way too much. It's just the way of things, man. And I wouldn't leave an org that you I wouldn't make decisions on what org I'm in right now. The game's so far away. So I wouldn't say anything like that. I have had very normal and understanding conversations with this man Montoya, and if members of that org are, too polarized for you, that it is what it is, but the leader of it is not. So,
Data Intrepid. All right. If it is a nice single-seater, medium fighter, starter ship, maybe, I don't know.
It looks like a starter ship from that interior.
I'm considering it. If you are new and you're wondering...
I'm considering it. He makes me laugh so much. He has considered every ship on this list.
Why would anyone buy starter ships or small ships? Keep in mind that once the jump points are in, there'll be certain jump points which only take small ships. And so small ships will be able to get around the universe much faster than the larger ones. Moving down to now what I think is...
You guys think he's considering this one as well? This is the most intriguing one. It is so far off the what we're used to seeing, right?
The most interesting of what we saw. Now the wings are very much like the Corsair, so this is a Drake, but I can't for the life of me figure out how this thing works.
It could be Drake.
It seems to be standing on a big foot or some kind of thruster, possibly. I like weird shapes. I will definitely be interested. It's definitely asymmetrical, and I don't know what the hell to make of it.
Dude, I love this. This is so funny.
I'm looking forward to see what that could be. Moving on, we have down here the RSI Apollo. If it is the RSI, is it the Apollo? I can't tell. But if it is the RSI Apollo, then we know what it is. It is very cool. Misk Star Lancer over here.
We already know that one.
Tech. I think is it the one we've seen?
Apollo, he didn't seem very high on, guys. Apollo was the first one.
Or maybe it's the base builder one. And moving down to the Perseus. Beautiful. What can I say about the Perseus that has not been said 1,000 times before? I'm really hoping this is what I think.
It literally drives right through hammerheads and blows them up.
It's going to be, and everyone wants that one ship, which is their go-to ship all the time. I think the Perseus is the perfect balance between size and utility. I just hope that the pilot can control at least one of these guns. There's one on the top, one on the bottom, and
I hope the pilot can control exactly none of them.
Looking forward to seeing this come out. It should not be too long. It should not be too long. I hope it doesn't take too long. Moving down, we have the
utility. It seems strictly combat. Does it have a bay for ships or not? I don't know anything about the ship. I could care less about the really large combat ships. They've never been my style. So maybe that's what he means by utility, like a little mini org ship. A rover bay? If it was a ship bay, maybe I would feel differently.
Ironclad, which was recently sold, and
ooh, he just skipped right over the Ironclad. Didn't care. Is he not an Ironclad enjoyer? Do I need to confront him on that? Because he did not consider the Ironclad.
Down to the Pioneer, the new downsized Pioneer, which we saw, which I think is looking beautiful.
Quick
and
DM
is
him.
turning out to be what will be probably one of the most essential ships in the game. So out of all of these, for me,
the Pioneer being one of the most essential ships in the game, that's an interesting take. For him, for an org of many thousands of people, absolutely. For the average player base who probably would group up between solo play and 5 other people max, Probably not. Right? Probably not at all. That's not like. Here's the thing that I don't think people are recognizing, and this is like I had a lot of comments on my most recent YouTube video about. I said something like I don't support solo gameplay. I just misspoke. Like that was so weird. I just said it really weirdly. What I mean is that there's gameplay that's like for solo players, and then there's gameplay for multi-crew players or group play. There's gameplay for both, and then there's gameplay that is like, and then there's end game roads for each style of play. Like that is your end game, really large org base building, station building ship. That's end game for some people, but not end game for everybody, right? The end game for a solo player probably looks very different to the end game for somebody like Montoya. That's the argument that I was making, right? So calling that an essential ship, I do find to be his essential ship and not the essential ship for everyone.
Personally,
I think he just said personally, yeah.
Of these, for me personally.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
The Fat Fury, absolutely yes. The Crusader ship, whatever it's going to be, maybe. And whatever the hell that thing is, absolutely yes on that too.
Absolutely yes.
Let me know, what are your thoughts? What is going to tickle your fancy with these? Give me your comments below. If you like my content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, you animals. I'll catch you in the next one.
Tickle them. So let me go ahead and link you guys the video if you guys don't know Montoya yet. He's been grinding out the YouTube content more and more lately, so go over there and give that video a like and subscribe and all that stuff. He's a good dude, and I love it. I just love it. An absolute yes, and all I've seen is a silhouette. It's an absolute yes. I'm interested, right? I am so interested in what that Drake ship is. I am so interested in what that prospector looking ship is, and I'm so interested if they're going to learn their lessons a little bit by putting the ships before the gameplay. We'll see. You already watched it. Have you liked it? Better go and like it as well. But yeah. Are those ships promised in the next year? They changed their wording on that to, instead of promised in the next year, will be working on in the next 12 months. So instead of promising when they'll release, they're just promising when they're going to work on them. And I think that's a good way to go about it. So the community will misunderstand that most likely, but I think a lot less of us misunderstand it than understand that, hey, they're just working on it. And we've seen how long it takes to make a Zeus. We've seen how long it takes to make a Polaris, right? So some of those are going to take more than likely more than 12 months, right? But we'll see. So that was Montoya. Again, go over there, show him some love. I love watching his videos. I think he's just an entertaining guy, man. He really is.